Now 92.1 FM and One Republic, counting stars. I'm Greg Lawrence. Good morning. Now 92.1 FM. Westland Insurance time is 7:31. It's 9 above zero. Woohoo! Murph in the morning with me.
It's above zero, huh?
It's above zero.
The forecast is good, so all is well. We got a guest this morning.
We do.
Our usual monthly first Friday of every month. Senator Howard Marklein, welcome. Thanks for coming in.
Good morning. Good to be here. It's kind of nice to drive here in the light.
Yes.
This morning.
Daylight savings time this weekend.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so Monday won't be late if you get the same time Monday.
So next time you guys are going to make me drive in the dark again, aren't you?
Exactly. That's right.
We're going to keep you in the dark.
A lot of people do that.
I'm sure, especially what you do for us. So, yep.
Well, your work was done last week, and now this week the Assembly's having fun with this.
Yes, they're voting on, debating it as we speak on the right to work legislation, and we voted on that last week. And so anyway, the Assembly went in yesterday at I don't know what time it was yesterday, and they're going to get done, I guess, about 9 o'clock this morning and vote on that. So anyway, it's. I guess it's fun watching sausage being made. But it's,
now, tell us a little bit about, this was basically your first experience in dealing with something like this, correct?
Yeah. Well,
this format.
We've had other pieces of legislation that have gone through the state Senate, but the right to work is obviously a pretty big issue, and it's one of those things that I looked at very closely and listened to people on both sides of the aisle. I had the opportunity, to look across the Mississippi River. My district, borders Iowa, and Iowa has been a right-to-work state since 1947. So, I've had a chance to kind of look at how right-to-work has affected people in Iowa, the economy in Iowa. And I've got a lot of people that work, union members that work at John Deere in Dubuque, and and so if you look at the statistics in the state of Iowa, I mean their unemployment rate is about a point lower than ours. When you look at some of the metrics as far as union membership, it really hasn't affected union membership as well. So. I think and I voted for right to work last week. I think it's the right thing from a worker choice standpoint. Also, I think it's good for the economy in the state of Wisconsin. 2 days ago, the Joint Finance Committee completed its agency briefings. One of the agencies that came in on Wednesday was the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation. And we heard testimony from a number of people with WEDC. And one of the people that testified is the COO of WEDC, and she's responsible for recruiting companies from out of the state to locate here in Wisconsin. And one of the interesting things that she testified to was that 70% of the inquiries out of state will not even consider Wisconsin because we weren't right to work. And I thought that was kind of an interesting
70%.
70%.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, it's obviously it's a factor, and you can argue the merits and all that stuff, but it is a factor in companies locating or in fact not even looking at a state. So, and I looked at Iowa's Iowa Economic Development Corporation, their website a few weeks ago, and it says why Iowa, and the second paragraph says Iowa is a right-to-work state. And it's interesting how, again, Iowa is promoting themselves as right to work, and so it definitely, I believe, has an impact in terms of economic development. And we also heard a couple of days ago in testimony that Michigan and Indiana are now right to work states as well. And it's becoming even a bigger issue in Wisconsin because a lot of the companies that Indiana and Michigan are trying to recruit are also the same businesses that we're trying to, lure to come here. So we're competing now with both Michigan and Indiana as well. So anyway,
I'm trying to get it on a level playing field with
exactly,
them.
Exactly. So anyway, and for the people that work in a union, the craftsmen, the tradespeople, the carpenters, and all that. I believe if that model is effective and efficient, and those unions provide good value to their members, they're going to do just fine. From a training standpoint and everything else, I think they'll continue to do well. If they're not providing good service, not being responsive to their members,
they'll have challenges.
They'll have challenges,
right,
and I guess that's just competition, and it's no different than the Chamber of Commerce here or any place else. If they're not providing value, you don't join it.
No difference than any other business competing with another.
Right.
So, that makes sense.
All right. Now, 92.1 FM, Westland Insurance time is 25 minutes till 8. We're going to take a break and have so much more as we have many talking points this morning with Senator Howard Marklein here on Now 92.1 FM. Now 92.1 FM, Westland Insurance time is 22 till 8. And we're at 11 above zero double digits. Very nice. Talking with Senator Howard Marklein this morning. Good morning again, Howard.
Good morning. Good to be here.
Yeah, thanks for being here. And Murph in the morning hanging out with us.
Hanging out, slowing things down. We're talking about budget and money and that kind of fun stuff. Boy, not that it's ever... It seems like your job is always a thankless job, but it even is more thankless with what's going on, the right-to-work stuff and then budgets. Boy, it's too heavy. But the budget process, again, last month we talked about how cool it is, freshman senator getting on joint finance, how important that was, and it made sense with your background and what you did in the assembly and everything. But can you walk us through the budget process a little bit for those of us who aren't familiar with it?
Sure. The Joint Finance Committee on which I serve is the committee that essentially writes the budget. We go through we go through all the details, and we're the ones that craft the budget that will get forwarded to the full state assembly and full state Senate for approval. And where we're at in the process, this past week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we had every agency come in, and they call the agency briefings. And they come in and they essentially explain why they are asking for what they're asking and some of the policies.
Try to justify
and all that. So and those were long meetings. But good stuff. Good to hear from every agency, and some were easier than others, some were less controversial than others. But so anyway, that's where we're at. The next phase is the public hearings, the statewide public hearings, and there will be 4 statewide hearings, and they begin in a couple of weeks. The first one's in March 18th in Brillion, Wisconsin. The next is March 20th. It will be in Milwaukee. The third one will be March 23rd in Rice Lake at UW-Barron County. And I'm very proud to announce that the fourth and final statewide public hearing will be in my Senate district, March 26th. It's going to be in Reedsburg, so it's not too far from here. And it's going to be at the high school, the Reedsburg High School. And I encourage people to show up, come on down, and
seriously, I got the hair on my arm standing up because it's pretty cool, because that's the first thing when you walked in this morning before we were on there, the first thing you're awful proud of, and that's very cool that you got one of them, these hearings to happen in our district. And just a stone's throw from where we're sitting right now. So people who are interested and want to get involved and boy, it's right here.
It's right here, and I think it's important to get our legislators out, to my district to see, how, meet the people here, hear their testimony, hear their input directly. And we went back 25 years, and I believe this is only the second time in the last 25 years that we will have held a joint finance public hearing on the budget in this Senate district. So I think the last time was like a dozen years ago. So it's a big deal. I think it's a big deal.
It is a big deal. It's a good job.
And I think the other thing that I for people that just want to observe the process, it's a show up and just sit. Even if you don't want to testify, show up and you can watch sausage being made.
It's truly interesting stuff. It truly is. If you haven't seen it, it might sound boring and stuff, but it's
our democracy at work. It's our process unfolding. It's what we're all about.
Seeing passions and stuff. No, very cool. I kind of want to do a morning zoo thing do some applause or whatever after how you explained how you got it. One of the 4 hearings in your district, in our district.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's cool.
Yeah, and that's something I've been working on. For the last several months, and when I was here last month, I was pretty sure that we were going to have it here in the district, but I didn't want to make any commitments. So it was announced this week, so we're very happy to have it here.
And we'll make sure it's a news store. We'll make sure we keep reminding our listeners. So that's the 26th.
March 26th. It'll be from 9:30 to 4:30 at Reedsburg High School.
All right.
Very, very good.
Cool.
Now 92 on FM. Westland Insurance time is 17 till 8. We have 12 degrees. You know, it's funny. We have all this high technology here. Everything is digital in this office, in the studio. And then when I need to tell the time, I always look at my face watch. I'm still on a face clock thing.
We put 2 clocks, and there's a big clock on the computer in front of you, and you're still looking at your watch.
I'm still looking at my watch.
Right.
Yeah. It just.
How long you been doing this?
I know, right?
That's just a function of habit.
You're dating yourself, too.
I know, I really am. Yeah, exactly. All right, that time in the morning, let's check in with our day today in entertainment history. Back with Senator Howard Marklein. Thanks for joining us, Howard.
Great to be here.
Lots to talk about.
Yes.
I want to jump back, if I could, just a minute. So you were talking about the budget process and each of the agencies coming through earlier in the week, and did anybody change your mind? Did you kind of have? I'm sure you try to keep an open mind. We're all human, but did any agency come in that you kind of thought wasn't doing enough, and boy, they got some good ideas, or somebody that you expected to wow you, and they.
You know, there was it was a good learning opportunity. There's some there are some agencies are more public and prominent, and we know what they do, and they're on the front page of the paper
DNR.
and that sort of thing. But there's a few agencies that we know that I learned about some of the good stuff they do, and got a better appreciation for some of them. So. I guess in some of the more prominent areas in transportation and natural resources and department administration, that's been publicized quite a bit, and we've had a chance to go through some of the details with that.
Yeah, those had to be long days. Those had to be long days.
Yeah, it's just I hate sitting, and so I can do it in, but it just long.
It's necessary evil. Sure.
I got home between 10 and 11 every night, and then had to be back early the next morning for the next round, and so it was about 3 days is about enough.
Go home, get a nap, come back in.
That's about it. That's about how it is.
All right, now 92 on FM. Westland Insurance time is 9 till 8. And it's 13 degrees now. Howard, let's talk a little bit about transportation within the budget. Where are we at with that right now? Give us an update.
Well, the transportation budget that was submitted by the governor does not have any fee increases at all in it, and essentially maintains a comparable level of spending that we've had the last couple of years. And the problem, it's a math problem there. We're continuing spending at a level that we've had for a number of years, but the revenue isn't increasing at all. So, and what the governor has proposed is $1.3 billion with a B dollars of bonding to essentially plug the hole, and which causes me a lot of concern because, there are 3 things I don't like about borrowing. 1, they charge you interest. 2, you got to pay it back. And 3, it tends to mask sometimes underlying problems, structural problems that, you haven't fixed anything. You've just borrowed money to Band-Aid the problem. So
you can't hear us. Greg and I are both nodding. But
yeah. I mean,
that's a nice. Can you say those 3 things again? That's pretty powerful. Those 3 things you don't like about borrowing.
Right. And the first 2 are kind of jokes. I mean, you got to pay interest. People get that. The other thing is you got to pay it back. And people forget sometimes it's like getting the credit card bill for the steak dinner you had last month. Well, I forgot how good that steak tasted. I mean, that's money that was spent long ago. And by borrowing, that debt service keeps increasing, into the future. And you look at our percentage of our transportation budget that's going to debt service, it keeps increasing. And so the third thing is, of course, it's like in a family. If you don't balance your budget and you use the credit card to fill in that hole, you haven't changed anything structurally in your budget. And that's essentially that's my biggest concern, is that we're kicking the can down the road, however you want to put it. And I'd rather deal with the tough issues today rather than be sitting here 2 years from now and wondering why the transportation budget's in tough shape. But and on the expense side of things, we need to be more efficient in how we spend our transportation dollars. And I've heard from highway commissioners, from contractors, from union operating engineers, and some of these ridiculous, it's not ridiculous, but putting cosmetics on all of these bridges and ornaments and wrought iron, railings and all the beautiful shrubbery and all that. Meanwhile, back here, we've got roads that we can hardly drive on. And I believe we ought to be spending our money first on kind of the basics, things that are functional. And, if 10 years from now we can afford to put wrought iron on our bridges and all the little ornaments with the state capitol on or whatever, well, that's something for down the road.
I have a kind of an analogy, similar story. I have a good friend who built a business, added on, and he hired an architect to design the facility and stuff, and it looked really nice, but then he got quotes on bids, and it was so expensive. And he's talking to the contractors about it, and the contractor says, "Well, why are you doing this and this truss and stuff in the front and stuff? Because that's really expensive." And he goes, "Well, I don't know why." So he asked the architect. The architect, well, because it looks nice, but it added like $120,000, like 20% to the project. And it's like, it's nice to drive under and see the Capitol, but. So what?
We need nuts and bolts repairs work on our roads.
Yeah. How long did it take us to get 82 straightened out here?
Oh, good grief! Yeah,
in town, and now finally State Street is going to get that. Yeah. So
I've got a contractor showed me a bid. A road contractor showed me a bid that included Christmas decorations that were included in the transportation project because that was part of the project. And how you can tie Christmas decorations for a community into a transportation project, I have a hard time understanding that. So again, we need to be putting our money into functional kinds of projects, and worry about the cosmetics and the prettying up stuff, down the road
when everything else is taken care of.
Right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. I like that you look at the actual numbers. Your big picture for you is actually the numbers. What is this going to cost? What are we going to spend? How are we going to save? And all like that. That's kind of cool.
I got a chance to visit Howard in his office in January, and he's got a big, huge bar graph chart. He's a numbers guy. He gets excited about it. Some people glaze over with the numbers and spreadsheets and graphs, and that's in Howard's wheelhouse. So we're fortunate to have him looking at that for us.
That's one of the downsides of being a CPA. And I think that's one of the reasons I'm on Joint Finance is that people expect me to dig into the numbers and understand what's going on.
Yeah. Oh, and thanks for doing that. We're fortunate to have that.
Yeah. So. Any other thoughts this morning? Anything you want to share this morning?
Nope. I appreciate the opportunity to come visit you every month. Look forward to seeing you again next month, and hopefully it'll be. We got a good forecast for next week, so
that'll be nice. Yeah.
It's about time.
Yeah, we're ready for it, and especially with the time change. So
that's right.
It'll be nice. The evenings getting a little
longer
later,
evenings,
but
harder to put little children in bed, though.
Do you have to? While we got a couple minutes, with all the hearings that are going to go on, you'll have to travel the state and go to all.
Correct.
All four of those.
Yes. Yeah, I'll be at every one of those.
Okay.
And, the one up in Rice Lake is I probably am going to go up the night before, but otherwise I'll just, for Brilliant, I'll just head up there and back, that day. So, but, I'm looking forward to it. I'm also looking forward to kind of listening for what the issues are depending upon the regions of the state. Because I suspect that if you go to Milwaukee, some of their concerns might be a little bit different than what we hear in Rice Lake or here in my Senate district.
Can almost guarantee that it's going to be different, and to hear what those are, it'll be interesting. And,
because everybody has different concerns. Different municipalities have different interests, different avenues, and
those will be 4 long days. And again, the one in our area is at Reedsburg High School,
correct,
on the 26th of this month,
right.
From, what'd you say, 9 or 9:30 to 4:30?
9:30 till 4:30.
Okay.
And there's a function going on that evening, and so, hopefully we'll get as many people, in and testify and as we possibly can. So there may be, I don't know what the format's going to be, if there's going to be a limit of 6-7 minutes or whatever of testimony. So we get as many people in, because you pretty well get a sense for, in a matter of 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes, you got a pretty good feel for what my concerns are. I don't have to go on for 20 minutes.
It
Right.
just gets redundant then. So
Right. Well, Senator Howard Marklein. Howard, thanks for coming in this morning. And thanks for the donuts. You
Hey,
brought
no problem.
donuts.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Anybody that brings me donuts, you're good. You're gold. Feed me breakfast, I'm happy.
Happy to do that.
All right, we'll see you
Our pleasure.
next
Our
month.
pleasure.
And you have to share those too, please.
Oh, really?
The vanilla frosted one's mine.
Yeah, I know Troy's back there, and he's going to want at least one of them.
Yep.
He's already been eyeing them?
Yep.
All right.
They smell great.
They really do, yeah. He's sitting on the counter here all morning. All right, well, Senator Marklein, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it so much.
Yep.
All right,
Thank
we'll
you.
see you next month, first Friday of the month.
Yep.
All right,
I'll be here.
absolutely. All right, now 92.1 FM. Checking our mid-Wisconsin weather picture for today. We're looking at high of 34, which is not too bad, and partly cloudy skies, and a wind out of the southwest at 10 to 15. Increasing clouds tonight, low 21, southwest wind 5 to 10. Tomorrow, sunshine and clouds mixed, high of 39, winds west at 8 to 15. And right now, we're at 14 degrees here at now 92.1 FM at 8 o'clock.